The entire crypto market is crashing, and in today's video I will be explaining to you guys whether the Bitcoin top is in or if this is actually a perfect golden buy opportunity. In today's video I will be explaining my view on Bitcoin, Ethereum and on an altcoin that I'm currently buying and why I am buying that altcoin at what prices with what targets. But first let's start off with Bitcoin, because what we can see over here on Bitcoin is that Bitcoin is seeing a huge crash yesterday and also today. It is due to some fear with wars potentially going on in the Middle East, US recession, Japanese recession, that kind of stuff. Guys, what I want to say to you guys is that you should never ever let a news event influence your decision making on Bitcoin or any other chart. What we can simply see on the chart of Bitcoin is that the trend is still towards the upside. Now you might be wondering, but Jip, over here we see a trend to the downside, right? Why are you saying that the trend is still towards the upside? Because the trend to the downside over here is a local downtrend. But when we look at a higher time frame view, we can see that the trend is still towards the upside. Why? Because we haven't broken this significant low yet, which brought us to this higher high compared to this high that brought us to this low. So until we break that low, market structure on the daily, market structure on the 3-day, and even you can say the market structure on the weekly are still trending towards the upside until we take out this low over here. Now something to be aware of is that over here we see also a wickless candle to the upside, which is also a potential sign that in my opinion the top might not be in, at least not the top for this weekly candle, right? We can see that all of these wicks, they tend to create wicks to the downside or upside before reversing towards the opposite side, right? Over here we see a flat candle, but the next week takes out the top of that flat candle. Over here we see a flat candle, but the next week takes out the top of that flat candle. Over here we see a flat bottom, but 2 weeks later we take out that flat bottom of that weekly candlestick as well. And now that is something to keep in mind as well. So even though that many people are stressing really hard right now, first reason why in my opinion you shouldn't be too bearish and too fearful right now is since market structure is still towards the upside until we open and close a candle beneath this significant low that brought us to this higher high, which means that until proven otherwise, dips are for buying. Now the second reason why in my opinion we are looking not at a potential top yet is because of the fact that over here, while we are ranging, right, because this is simply still a range until it breaks, the volume is dropping lower and lower, right? Which means, and you should not be looking at this weird spike, for example, or this weird spike, guys. Look at the general volume. The general volume is dropping lower and lower while we are moving sideways and correcting sideways to the downside over here, which means that this is not a sign for a potential top or a potential bottom. What we were seeing over here while we were moving to the downside and sideways is that volume was actually going higher and higher. Now why is it so important? Because the volume is indicating whether or not there's accumulation or distribution going on, right? If we were truly distributing over here, in my opinion the volume would be going higher and higher, but right now it's going lower and lower, which means that we are probably just correcting before further upside, right? Now the psychology that is coming with this is that Bitcoin is correcting heavily. Bitcoin is testing key support, because what we can see is that we are also taking out, when we simply look at a chart and exclude bias and everything, taking out major sales of liquidity over here. And while we are taking out major sales of liquidity, we are tapping into this previous supply area. So Bitcoin is near high time frame key support. When we go from the swing low to the swing high, we can see that Bitcoin is also trading inside of a discount for the second time after we met the discount for the first time over here. And while we are trading near this high time frame support, while we are trading inside of this discount, what is happening to the psychology of the market? What is happening to the psychology of the participants in this market? They are extremely fearful, and it is a common emotion. It is totally understandable, but you have to realize that there's a saying that you have to buy when others are fearful and sell when others are greedy. Now this might sound so simple, but it's actually true. And if you do not understand this concept, and if you start selling now instead of buying now, in my opinion, long-term wise in this market, you will never make it. So that's everything regarding to Bitcoin. Now let's go over Ethereum, because what we can see on Ethereum when we apply the previous bull market range over here is that Ethereum is closing in on the range lows after a first bigger deviation above the mid-range that was being followed up by a second smaller deviation above the mid-range. Now what we can see as well is that when we switch on the quarterly levels for this range over here on Ethereum, is that Ethereum is currently breaking down below this quarterly level. What Ethereum did as well is that it has been taking out this low over here, and there's some more liquidity resting over here as well. Now, what we were seeing after the Bitcoin ETF that went live, we also saw a big crash on Bitcoin. Now that crash was getting bought up at some point quite swiftly, and after it got bought up quite swiftly, it pumped towards new all-time highs. Now if Ethereum is indeed following a similar path to Bitcoin, it doesn't have to follow the exact same path because Bitcoin didn't crash this hard obviously, and considering the fact that the Ethereum ETF just went live, this will be a massive buy opportunity for institutions and people that now finally have access to buying Ethereum, because they can also see that Ethereum made another huge crash and that from the current local top over here, Ethereum is down almost 50%, and that is a golden buy opportunity if you believe that long-term wise Ethereum is trading at a discounted price and that Ethereum at some point should be reaching brand new all-time highs in this cycle. And I strongly believe that Ethereum will reach new all-time highs in this cycle, just like Bitcoin did after the Bitcoin ETF went live. Guys, does it mean that we are going to form a wick over here and then pump it to new all-time highs in the next week or two? It doesn't necessarily mean that, because we know that if there's true accumulation going on over here, it might take days, it might take weeks to fill those orders over here and then confirm the reversal and then start pumping it towards the upside. That is very much possible, and that is definitely a scenario that we should be considering right now for Ethereum. Don't expect bottoms to form in weeks. Over here, this bottom took days. Over here, this bottom took days, right? Even over here, this bottom took weeks, and then after weeks, we formed a massive run towards the upside. It's a pattern that we see occurring every single time. Over here, we formed this big wick. Eventually, price went back to fill that wick, accumulated once more, and then pumped it towards the upside. And that is something to not underestimate. That is something that is happening over and over again on the crypto chart. So don't expect a bottom to be formed in a week over here on Ethereum, on Bitcoin, or on any altcoin. Is it possible? Yes, but you should be considering the fact that there's a higher probability that we are going to consolidate over here for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, to fill the orders of the institutions, to fill the orders of the market makers, while retail is panic selling and panic shorting the price over here, and then we are going to form a reversal towards the upside. All right, for trading ideas, guys, let price settle down. This video is meant for investing. This video is meant for long-term positions, to calm you guys down a little bit. All right, I still strongly believe that the top is not in for the cycle, neither for Bitcoin or for Ethereum and altcoins. I still believe that there's going to be a last phase of this cycle at some point, might be later this year, early next year. I still strongly believe that we will see that last phase of the cycle, and that this opportunity, you should not let it slip, and instead capitalize on this opportunity to accumulate as much as you can. Today, I invested my last bit of USDT into the market, right? Gonna be fully transparent. This is it for me, right? I've now invested all of my USDT that I reserved for the crypto market into the market today, right? Because I believe that this is a golden buy opportunity and that prices are trading at massive discount long-term wise. So every Ethereum, every INJ, every Bitcoin, every fetch.ai that I can accumulate right now, I strongly believe that in the next year, the prices will trade much higher. Another coin that I believe will trade much higher is INJ, and I think that over here we are looking at a beautiful chart. What we can see, accumulation that was taking weeks, maybe even months. I've touched you guys. Accumulation takes place inside of liquidity pools, and we were building up massive liquidity over here, moved sideways in this liquidity pool, and right now we are looking at potential manipulation over here. And once we reclaim the reaccumulation range, we are going to expand towards the upside, towards brand new all-time highs for INJ. I strongly believe that we will do. Right, what we can see over here as well is that INJ is testing this previous resistance area that we were seeing over here. And while it is testing the previous resistance area, INJ is taking out major sales of liquidity as well, just like Ethereum and Bitcoin were doing as well. Now, these are the kind of coins that you should be looking at. While market structure is still bullish until we open and close candles beneath this low, right? And once we are taking out major sales of liquidity after reaccumulation, those are the kind of coins that you want to be buying, right? Don't buy the coins that are now trading at new cycle lows over here, for example. Those are not the coins that you want to buy, right? You want to buy the coins that are still holding on to market structure, that are still taking out major sales of liquidity. Now, from off this point, let's say that I believe that INJ, this is no financial advice, is trading at a massive discount and that it should be trading at new all-time highs at some point. My current investment on INJ that I just did will have an increase of approximately 284% at minimum. Eventually, I even believe that INJ will trade even higher, but I believe that currently INJ is at a major discount, right? Whether it is tomorrow, whether it is next week, next month, next year, maybe even 2 or 3 years, I believe that at some point INJ should reach new all-time highs, which means that every INJ that I can accumulate right now at the current price is at a major discount, and in my head, at some point, there's a guarantee that I will make money because I've done my research. I believe that INJ is currently undervalued. That means that every INJ that I buy now eventually will trade in major profit. I hope this video calmed you guys down a little bit. I hope this video explained my views on Bitcoin, Ethereum, INJ and altcoins in general a little bit. If you guys still feel fearful, if you guys still have doubts whether or not to buy or sell, if you guys still have questions at all about the markets currently, what is going on in the economy, financial crisis, that kind of stuff, feel free to hit me up in my DMs. They are always open. If you guys want to have a chat, you can DM me either on Twitter or on Discord. The links can be found in the description down below. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on Wednesday's video. Ciao, ciao!